I mean, those who are logged in.
Sir, yeah, we are talking.
You can just mention who are the participants and how are they.
Yes.
Chalapati is not yet joined. He may join later.
Yeah. And sir, it is just a minute. After that, we start.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we are always start by time.
Prakash is one person, who keeps reminding regularly every day. And after the day starts, every 1 hour, he will start reminding by phone, by SMS, by call, so that we don't. Really, that was really wonderful of him managing like that.
I think I'll be troubling you people. Huh?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's not.
No,
trouble,
that kind.
but
That
actually,
much
that's
of
good. Actually.
Yeah, your initiative and the commitment. That's why things work out. Otherwise, if you don't follow, sometimes we
Yes.
are not busy. Yeah, one thing is I am not a busy man, but I may forget because I'm not busy.
Sir, because the program will be successful if all parties, have to have a good coordination. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
So, okay, sir, now we'll start the program. Good morning to you all. This is DB Prakash from Institute of Practical Accountancy. Sir, I wanted to just brief about our IPA. Institute of Practical Accountancy. We have been training the BCom, MCom, MBA from 21 years to 60 years people. They're joining to our course, making them meaningful education for a practical life. It is a sort of a practical course in accounts and finance, all the jobs, whether it is a small firm or a big firm, MNC company, hospitality industry, anything, from all the industry side, our course is useful for the people to work as accountants. Accountant, I mean to say that account is not only accounting and the direct and indirect taxes also, whatever the account related areas also. They have been trained and our people are absorbed by the companies also. Companies have been contacting us in our endeavor to keep the students updated. Whatever the developments and changes are taking place, we have been seeking the help of the professionals in the field, with their lectures and seminars, keeping our students updated. In this connection now, enterprise resource planning, ERP, is a very hot topic. Everybody is interested to know what is this ERP. SAP is also called as ERP. Tally, and it is also called as ERP. So many ERP packages. I mean, the software in accounts and finance. And our students still, because they are not experts in the field, but they are budding. I mean, they are growing in that area. They want to have a clarity. What is the clarity mean to say? That any accounting side, first you need to have a practical procedures. What is that accounting system? All these things and the importance of this ERP. In this connection, we have the speaker for the day, Sri Krishnan Garu. I mean, he's a practicing cost accountant, and he's also the consultant for Dynamic Infotex as a consultant, and then he worked on few books also. So now we have him, and before that, I request our guest for the day, CMA Kameshwar Rao Garu, who was with this government because he is now practicing into taxation. He is a senior most CMA. May I request him to introduce today's speaker, CMA Krishnan Garu, please. Sir, now open to you, sir. Kameshwar Rao Garu.
Thank you, Mr. Prakash. Good morning to the organizers, Mr. Prakash basically and his team, and guest of the today's speaker, Mr. Krishnan. I am a cost accountant and I have been a chairman for the Hyderabad chapter accountants from 2007 onwards, in 2007 rather. and I have served in various positions. Now I am actually, after working in public sector for more than 30 years and then working in the private sector as general manager finance, now I am into my own practice of costing from 2011. Actually, it is an opportunity for me to get associated with the Institute of Practical Accountants. Mr. Prakash is such an able person. He has been organizing this real practical training for BCom graduates and also some intermediate people who can take up a job immediately, because skill development is one of the very essential features which government also is now thinking that every place, including engineering graduates, they are not employable when they come out of the college. Similarly, BCom grad, they may be learning all aspects, but keeping them abreast with the practical aspects. And he is organizing such a wonderful meetings. And today we have Mr. Krishnan. I would be very happy to introduce him. He is my best friend and is also my co-professional in my profession in costing. Krishna Narayanan is a cost and management accountant with MBA from Institute of Public Enterprises and MCOM from Osmania University. He is an advisor and functional consultant for finance and costing modules of ERP at Dynamics Informatics, a specialized Microsoft Dynamics and Oracle NetSuite partners and service company. He is also a support end-to-end process in FICO, the Financial Information and Cost Controls under SAP modules. Functional support of FICO and especially costing modules in SAP. Practical experience in functional consultant in implementing Microsoft Dynamics NAV. Knowledge of NetSuite, and he has undergone training in this particular aspect. He has also undergone training certificate in knowledge of Oracle applications in finance modules. He has a practical experience as functional consultant implementing SAP Business Suites, B1 it is called. So he is also a certified QuickBooks practitioner. He is a pro advisor in advanced stage. A recent edition while in US, he has been moving up and down to US and Hyderabad, being a green card holder. He also works there. He is working on QuickBooks, online accountant at Hearts and Minds, located in New York. He is also working as part-time on QuickBooks, online accountants at My Startup CFO, located at Sunnyvale, California. See, QuickBooks also is on par with our own Tally system, which is available here. QuickBooks works for US, like Tally works for us in India. We can learn a lot of things on this also from him in another session, may not be in this session. He has more than 4 decades of experience in finance and costing. He has worked in various capacities in public sector and private companies. He was head of finance and costing in Indian Immunological Limited, a vaccine manufacturing company. During the tenure, he implemented an in-house ERP and costing system. He was a controller in Capson's Gas and Equipments Limited, an engineering company manufacturing gas equipments, and introduced ERP accounting in Microsoft Dynamics. In practice, as a cost accountant for last 15 years, associated with the DZR and Company and a cost accounting firm with clients having from bulk drugs, pharma, cement, steel, infrastructure, electricity, and now is a partner of BVS and Company. Why we say that these are the industries by just name, maybe single one, but costing differs from each industry to industry. So bulk drugs has a different system of costing, pharma has a different system, cement, steel, all industries, industry-wise, he has got wide experience in generating and then working on costing systems. His expertise in implementing cost records and costing system ERP, that is SAP and Microsoft Dynamics. I now introduced Mr. Krishnan and I leave him the forum for his address. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. All the students, please mute your mics, and we have to silently pay importance for our speaker, and then let him speak out his views on enterprise resource planning. It is a very, 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 very hot and important topic. Sir, now. CMA Krishnan Garu, it is now this session is handed over to you, sir. Please.
Thank you, Kameshwara, for giving such a good introduction, and Sir Prakash for giving me this opportunity to address.
Sir, can I stop you for a while, sir? Mr. Divakar Garu has joined from Dynamic Infotex, please. Info Systems. Am I correct, sir? Dayakar Garu? Sorry, Divakar Garu. Sir, Divakar Garu, please unmute your mic, Andy.
Hello, very good morning.
Good morning, sir. Divakar Garu.
Yeah.
Sir, Krishnan Garu.
Yeah,
Divakar Garu has joined, sir. You are a Dynamic Infotex.
good morning, Divakar. How are you?
Very good morning, Krishnan sir.
You are just in time.
I was stuck up a little bit in the traffic and.
Yes, sir. All the students, we have a great personality. I mean, he's managing director of he's managing director of Dynamic Info
Informatics.
Informatics. It is on ERP. On the subject. So I may request him to address this session for 2 minutes, sir, Divakar Garu, and then we will hand over the session to after that to the speaker. Sir.
Sir, you want me to speak on ERP?
Yes, sir. Just just few
See,
words on that.
That's a big topic, but I would like to say a few words
sir,
about ERP.
Because
most of the people know the name ERP. Probably more than ERP, they know the words like SAP, Oracle, and all.
Yes.
So they are synonymous with ERP, you can say. ERP, what is ERP? ERP is a enterprise resource planning solution. What is enterprise? Every organization, whether it's a government, bank, insurance, manufacturing, trading, non-government, a voluntary organization, not for profit, anything you say, they either supply goods or services and all. It's an enterprise. Okay. And so enterprise is responsible for the stakeholders to deliver or meet its goals and expectations. So enterprise has got resources. What are the resources? First resource is money. First, even before money, I would say people. Without people, there is no company. Even if you have people without money, there is no use. So everything comes into a play. Resource is machines, material. So many things play a role. Even market is also playing a role. So ERP is one area which actually addresses all those needs. P is planning. You all know planning. Okay, without planning, you will not be able to achieve anything. Even the most simplest things also may or may not, then you will be leaving it to the probability of success. But if you do plan, your probability of success is much higher. Nobody can guarantee a success, but planning will help you to meet your goals more easily. That's all I would say about ERP.
Okay.
And we'll probably catch up later.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
After the speaker, Sri Krishnan is delivering his guest lecture. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks
Thank
a
you,
lot.
sir,
Andy.
for giving this opportunity.
Thanks a lot, Andy. Yeah. Sir, now session is open to CMA Krishnan Garu, sir. Please, you can take care of the session.
Thank you, Prakash. And thank you, Divakar, for giving just a basic understanding of ERP. I know you have the expertise of, and the most, I would say the technical expertise is one thing these people have in dynamic informatics. They do very good implementation. They have a good team also. So I am also a part of their team. So I'll start my session addressing the students here. Yeah, I think there are students as far as we are concerned because they have to learn a lot. So this is my presentation on enterprise resource planning. The role I stress here, the role of accountants, because being an accountant, I stress more on the role of accountants in enterprise ERP. Is the screen visible?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. See,
It's clear. It's clear.
Jeff Thompson, look, President and CEO of the Institute of Management Accountant, quoted, to succeed in today's automation-driven world, today's young accountants need to become future-proof. Becoming future-proof requires that something to be that you have to update your knowledge continuously, redesign or change so that it will continue to be effective or as the future unfolds. So the most important thing is change. You should always be a
Yeah.
one thing only.
Sir, no audio.
No audio?
Now it's okay.
Yeah. So I'll start my presentation with my journey to ERP. My introduction was already given by Kameshwar Rao, so I need not talk much about my qualification and all. Here I want you to take you through my journey in my career. Say in the year 1974, I did my BCom. So many of you might not have been born at those times. So 1975, I started my career of I joined. I was in Wazir Sultan Tobacco VST, and those days the books of accounts. I think you have to mute it.
Yeah, I will mute it so that you can.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I am muting all.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, you unmute yourself, please. Krishnan garu.
Am I audible now?
Yes, 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 yes. You can continue, sir.
So in 1975, I started my career in Wazir Sultan Tobaccos. There it was all manual postings were done. Entries were posted in the books of accounts in ledgers and ledger sheets. And then the ledger sheets will run into pages. So that time, they used to have experts in adding machine. That is, there used to be calculators which they do the additions. They may be having a speed of say 100 lines per minute or something like that. So their duty is only to do the addition. So all the books of accounts used to be written manually. Then it was sent to them for adding, and then the total will be taken up, and then the ledger was posted into the as a trial to the trial balance and trial balance to P&L and balance sheet. Everything was manual. Then I came down. Then I joined. After that, no, I was in biological Evans. So in the year 1976, there also the accounting was done manually, but there was some improvement there that we had some electronic calculators so that we could do the totaling. We do it ourselves, all the writing of the books and then totaling, everything was there. Then in the year 1978, in the IDP, I worked in Indian Drugs and Pharmaceuticals. And here I started my career in computers. But what type of a computer was it? It was a card punching. Maybe most of you would not have heard about it also. Those days, the computer, the cards used to be punched, and then that used to be fed into a computer, and then you used to get a lot of all the data, that is your cash book, your bank book, your ledgers, everything used to come from the you go to the computer section and they will punch everything and they will give you all these printed reports. And then next, I got into Bharat Electronics, where the accounting was, yes, it was on computers, but not on card punching. This was on Fox Pro. And here I learned Lotus 1, 2, 3. Those days, learning something we called Lotus 1, 2, 3 was something was great. Because those days, no, there was no Windows didn't exist. And again, after that, I joined in 1996. I came down to Capstans, where we started using the accounting package. So the focus accounting package was used. So I want to talk to you much about what is that accounting package and all, because I just want to give you an idea of that, how the development took place. And then in the year 1999 or 2000, I was in Indian Immunological, where we started developing Innosina ERP. So then let us see why do this, why does, and you know one more thing, that all those organizations where I worked, where they did not have ERP, all of them are now working with ERPs. So why does these organizations go for ERP? ERP brings the customer management, human resources, business intelligence, financial, and all these things, all the supply chain, everything is brought into one system. Whereas if you look at the accounting package, say I told you I was worked with Focus, even in Tally I worked. See, it is not, you can't have everything in one system. So that's why companies thought that if they have to grow, they have to go for a solution which will cover the whole gambit of the business. So this is where the ERP pitched in, and organizations started looking for that. And what does this ERP stand for? As Mr. Divakar has already told you that ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning, and even Prakash has told you about that. And then let us move forward and see what ERP has to do for us. So what is this ERP? Is an integrated software that manages the entire business, manages the information and process flow of each activity, function, division. All users have access to one database. So the most important thing here is, one is that, it is all integrated. Second, the whole business process, whether it's activities of the functions and divisions, everything is captured in ERP, and this is all brought into one database, and all users will have access to it. That is, that they have given access to the person working in purchase department, or is a sales department, or even the security. When the material comes into a factory, he has access to the ERP. He enters the material has come, and then that is the way that from the gate it starts. The ERP starts from the day the material lands in, and it is the security also does that. That means you don't need to be having a technical knowledge about computers or software. You are a user. You are told what to do, and if you do it, you do it what you are told. That helps in SAP, in ERP to be implemented effectively. This is how the ERP, that is, if you look at the diagrammatic approach, the diagram shows us that what are the various areas, say sourcing, procurement, manufacturing, supply chain, sales, assets management, R&D, service. Of course, finance is what I'll be talking more about it as we go on. What are the popular ERPs? Somebody, Divakar was mentioning that people, when we say ERP, they only know SAP. They don't, they think SAP means ERP, there's nothing more than that. But there are many ERPs. These are some of the popular ERPs. Say SAP Business One, and now the latest is SAP HANA is there, and then these are all, now we have gone into cloud computing, and HANA and all are mostly on cloud. Then you have the Microsoft Dynamics 365, then NAV, Oracle ERP is there, Oracle NetSuite, which is for for medium and small size industries. Then there is one more. Salesforce is one thing where the focus is more on sales, but that is a very effective package, means ERP package, which is now in the market. And Syscon Cronus, this is a Indian product. It's a Indian company, and the Hyderabad based. They are doing well, and they have been in this field for a long time. And one Mr. Venkatesh is there; he's doing it. So these are some of the popular ERPs, and maybe some of you may have maybe getting trained on that. Whatever it is, whatever you take, you focus on that, and then you should become an expert in that. When we say so much about ERP, then why do the ERPs fail? This is a big question. Is it because the quality of the package? No, it's not because the ERP package is not properly developed. It's not like that. It is the implementation. Because all ERPs are good and they are developed on certain platform. The technical people will be able to explain you better. But being a functional, yeah, we need to know what actually it can do. So actually, depending on the size of the business and the complexities, it has to be customized. You can't have and it may be that some ERPs may suit bigger organizations, some may be for smaller organizations. That's why you find that in SAP business is for medium and small size, and like that Oracle came out with NetSuite for small and medium size companies. Effective, it can be even used for bigger companies. But SAP also now SAP is even they are implementing in smaller organizations. But of course, that the limitations are there. There will be lot more screens to be navigated, and of course, those who have knowledge of ERP can give you a better idea about how it works. Here, I am not getting into any particular ERP, so I just wanted to say how this that is why the ERPs fail is not that because the ERP is not good quality. It is ultimately for the organization how they do it. It is how they actually define the business process and all. Anyhow, as we go further, we'll be able to understand that. There is one, I am just giving you two examples that how actually there was a failure in a ERP. A company is a big company, actually is a steel company. You know, if they wanted to implement it, they implemented SAP, and their accounts and all were being done well. They are getting all the financials, everything, but they were not able to give me the costing module was not implemented. Then when we went and then they gave us everything in Excel sheet. When we went and saw the reason why it was being why they are not able to give the reports, then we found that though they have implemented the costing module, they are not able to take out the report because they had created about 1,000 cost centers. And if you create 1,000 cost centers, each transaction has to be identified with the cost centers. That is, suppose, especially P&L account, where the profit and loss account, where you want all the expenses are there to be tracked. Even these people this company had even made the manufacturing processes also, they identified as cost centers. So the problem was when the material was issued to one of the for manufacturing a product, it had to go through say about 100 process. So each process, when the material was moving, they have to capture the data. which they were not able to do practically, it became impossible. Then why did they do it? Why should they have created 100,000 cost centers? The reason was the implementers told that this package you can have n number of cost centers, n number of chart of accounts you can create. So the company was excited and they did that. But at least the implementers should have told them the reason. No, that is the shortcomings, that if you do like this, what will be the problem? Anyhow, that they knew, they come to know only, that is, you always understand it only once you do something. Same way in another company, there was the company went for SAP. You know what happened in SAP? You have that when you have to define the chart of accounts, they give us a lot of options. They say this is for pharma, this is for, they say these are all for each group of say each line of activity, you have a chart of accounts. And then this company was given a chart of account by the implementer. They implemented, stating that this is being done by, it was a pharma company actually. So they said, say the Reddy Labs has implemented, or some Shanta Biotech has done something like that. A big company had done. So the MD of the company said, oh, then big companies are using this chart of accounts, maybe we can also go for that. They landed in big fiasco, because the chart of accounts which they have done, that couldn't work. And then they said, okay, why not we use our own Tally? Tally is used, has got a chart of accounts, and the Tally chart of accounts and all are very simple. That is, it doesn't get into the depth of into the, say, suppose you are a manufacturing company, the material issue to production, and then to the process. So many entries have to be. It has to go through chart of account. Though this cannot be seen on the, means it won't come into the financials, but still you have to define some of them in the chart of accounts. So the Tally, people think that because I'm having Tally chart of accounts, I want to put it into SAP. Please don't do that mistake. Companies should not go for that kind of thing. They have to have their own chart of accounts. They should study the chart of accounts. The finance person or the right persons to say. And generally what happens is, whenever they implement a ERP, they create a team from a team to more study. It is an internal team from the head of the departments, mostly from each of the departments, the production, the sales, the purchase, stores, from the accounts. So all these people, they come work as a team, and then they decide what should be the chart of accounts. You may take some time, but do it. Don't then just simply dump it. Or if the implementer says that you can go for something like this, don't do that. You have to see that it is done, and it is the finance man ultimately who will have to bear the brunt of any of these problems. You will start understanding the chart of accounts when I start discussing on that. Now coming to this, I was telling you Tally, and then the accounting package, how they means many of them are prevalent. Most of the Tally is one, Focus, Wings, they are all accounting packages. But how is it that are they different from ERP? Yeah, that the difference is that accounting software deals only with accounting transactions, such as your accounts receivable or payables and the trial balance. You don't have most of these accounting software. They don't have they won't have the production module. So just you have the inventory, means it will be the raw materials or stores and spares or packing materials. So you can't have the manufacturing in that. Whereas ERP software is not like that. It is a system where you have everything is tracked. You track your tangible and intangible assets, the materials, human resources, everything, the financial resources. So it covers a range of functionality and not just that yes, accounting software you can never imagine can do it. But because of this growing popularity, many of these accounting softwares now started converting themselves into ERP, like you have Tally ERP, Focus ERP, but we cannot call them as full-fledged ERPs. Maybe you can call them as hybrid ERPs because still their production modules are not up to the mark to give all the information. So accounting packages, you can handle very well because being an accountant, you have to do it. But when you come to the ERPs, what is the role of an accountant? Not all modules of ERP need the services of accounting. FICO. But the most important in understanding the work is the Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You can continue.
Oh, okay. Because there was some message was coming that internet is not good. That's why. Okay. Okay, I continue. The accountant role is limited to the finance and costing module, which is also known as FICO. But the most important thing is to understand the workflow, the process flow, because all these modules are integrated and they end in FICO. That means the accountant cannot be ignorant of what the other modules are doing. This is a diagram of a typical ERP. You will find the process flow, the workflow, how the work flows from in each of the, that is what are the process flow in each of the modules. You have the, if you see on the left side, you will find the sales, production, inventory, purchase, and accounts, finance and accounts. And if you look at the right, if you look at the, I am pointing it out, on the rightmost end, you will find the dotted lines, which is coming down and it is coming and joining the you will find it is coming and joining in the accounts to make the payment, or so the whole thing comes down to accounts. All the whatever the activities are taking place in the sales, production, inventory, purchase, all these things, in the end, it has to come down to, we come to the finance. It may be a payment, it may be a receipt, it may be a billing. So even the stores, one inventory, where the inventory is there, we have the information has to flow in that how much inventory has come into the factory, and then how much has gone into production, what is the stock lying in the inventory. So this information comes again to the FIC in the FICO module. So that means what? The role of accountant is very important because he has to know all the means what are the activities going on, what transactions are being recorded and captured, and he has to see that ultimately all these things are coming down to the finance and accounts. I can just give you a small example, like say, okay, I'll go into the next screen. I will be able to give you an explanation. See, let us, from the accountant's point of view, let us understand what are the two major process flows. One is procure to pay, the other is order to cash. What are these two? Let us understand that. This is procure to pay. Company plans their production. That is, the company has all the companies, they have a planning, and you have seen the ERP where P is the last is the planning. They plan their production. How do they plan their production? They should know what is the demand for that. Whether it is they may plan. Their planning may start from sales, or it may start that the company themselves may get some orders and may start going for an order, or they may have a the forecasting method by which they plan the production. So first they identify the needs, and then they go on for, then they create you have to create the requisition, of course. See, let me not run through the whole thing, because I just wanted to show you the process flow. And then you find that the step 1 is identifying the need, and the last step 9, you find that step 8. Step 8 is invoice approval, and then step 9 is vendor payment. So the invoice, once it is approved, it comes down to finance for payment. Now, order to cash. Order to cash cycle. It is, again, this is the previous one was for the purchase, and the order to cash cycle is for the sale. Here you have the order management, and then the credit management. You have all these things coming down, and then you have to you invoice the material, and then it comes down to finance as accounts receivable, and then you have the collections and reporting. So here, if you don't have an idea of how the workflow is, then it becomes difficult for you to understand the ERP, means the effectiveness of the ERP. See, for example, if there is any leakage, suppose there is order management, they go on placing orders, and then the material is coming, but the material gets stuck, and they are not able to fulfill their orders, and then it gets stuck up because it's not being sent, or whether the material has been sent but they are not invoiced. So there are so many ifs and buts, and if there are leakages in the workflow, what happens is ultimately this is reflected in the accounts only, because the material might have been purchased, and the creditors would like to get their payments, but the material, the purchases might not have reached the finance department. Same accounts payable, same way accounts receivable. The invoices might not have been made, material might have gone, the invoices are not made. Then what happens is that you are not able to collect the money, and you don't even you find that there's no material, the inventory shows nil stock, but it has not come into collections, these are not coming to accounts receivable. So that's the reason that the accountant has to understand the process flow, and also that it is ultimately it comes down to the finance FICO, both the collections and the payments, and the managing director of the company will ask only the CFO of the company, why you are not paid, or why you are not sold, or why the sales are not being why are you not capturing the sales properly. So there are so many no one else in the department, in the organization will be questioned. It is only because the finance is being handled by the finance department, and the reports show whether we have to receive money or whether you have to pay money. If that doesn't show properly, then you are not going to show a correct result. And it is only the finance department will be questioned, whereas other departments will not be questioned that much. That's the reason the role of accountant has become much more important as ERP started coming in. Not that by the ERP is coming in, the work of accountant got reduced. It has only increased. This is a finance module. No? That is, finance module is nothing. No, everything, as I was mentioning to you, that everything is captured in a finance module. The accounts payable, the accounts receivables, the asset accounting, you get all the assets in this, the banking. So this way, wherever the financial activities have taken place, all these things will come down. And we call that here. I am showing it as general ledger. It may be some other SAPs may say a general ledger, or may call it as some other name. But usually it is the general ledger they call. Of course, as an accountsman, that doesn't that doesn't appeal to me, because I always find that the general ledger is something, though everything comes in here, it is not that it gives everything. It means, so for our understanding, yes, we have to say that here every financial transaction will come and sit in the general ledger. And from the general ledger, you make the trial balance and then the P&L account and the balance sheet. Let us now get into the finance module further. If you go into the finance module, you find that, as I showed, you have the journal, you have the chart of accounts, the fixed assets, the account schedules, you have the currency. So there are so many things out there in this. And maybe I have just jotted down a few of them. And if you see the screen, it may be in SAP, it may be much more than this. Oracle is also a very, for FICO, Oracle is much more prominent than even SAP. But Oracle is more prevalent mostly in US. Cash management is given importance, though it is also a part of your, if you say, it can be a general ledger also, because I can say, because it is also a, cash also is an account only, but cash has got a different focus. Cash management has to be done separately. And it is in the accounts FICO module, you find that cash management is shown separately. And it is much more important, because after these online transactions have started, that everything is online, the bank statements, everything comes online, and it has the focus more on cash management. Costing module. This is my passionate, because I am passionate about costing, because I'm a cost accountant. And costing module, you have the chart of accounts, the costing cost objects, cost elements, cost allocation, budget. Of course, at your level, I don't think that I should go in depth in the costing module. But one thing I can say, that even in SAP, very few implementers know costing module in detail. Even cost accountants, they don't get into the costing module. They don't have that much of understanding. The reason is that companies don't focus much on costing module. Of course, even though the costing module, if it is implemented in the system, you can get results. But if that, because that is not being done, most of the cost accountants are experts in Excel statements. They draw all the information from ERPs and they make all the cost sheets and all in a Excel sheet. So effectively, if somebody says they have an online accounting, if costing reports are being done in Excel, I won't call it as a online accounting, or I will say that ERP is implemented only 25 to 30%. Let me come to the chart of accounts. This is the most important and most critical as far as the organization is concerned, and also for those who are accountants to understand. They should have a very good understanding of this chart of accounts. Having worked in accounting packages like Tally, Focus, at that time the importance of chart of accounts, I never understood that, because you open the system, your accounting package, you have a chart of accounts, you start the entries, you pass the entries, you select the one chart of account, and then you used to work that. But that is not the way. The chart of account is actually, you can call it as the nerve center. That is, everything has to come, all the accountments, all the activities of the organization, which has a finance, where finance is involved, they have to come into the chart of accounts. So when you define each chart of account, you should know very well that what actually gets into this account. Of course, I've already told you about that. ERP implementers try to provide a ready-made chart of accounts, but you should adopt it only after satisfying that it suits the company. It's always better to design the chart of accounts according to the company requirement. So you may have a doubt, how do you do it according to the company requirement? It is not. It is that if you have worked in with an accounting package like Tally, we are stuck with that. We think that, oh, accounting package is something you just import it from Tally and can use this. And this was the report I was getting, and you get the same report. But if you want to have a ERP, if you are not going to have your chart of accounts according to the requirement of the company, then the reports what you are going to generate is not going to be useful at all. So how are you going to define the chart of accounts? Before defining the chart of accounts, let us understand that what actually gets into the chart of accounts. It is, if you as I mentioned to you the various packages, the ERP packages that SAP is, or Oracle or Microsoft Dynamics, whatever may be, but the chart of account has to be, they have to follow certain rules which are universal. You have the balance sheet accounts comprising of assets, liabilities, and shareholders' equities, and the accounts are broken down into further subcategories and all. Then you have the income statement, you have the revenue and expenses. This, I think, most of you are well aware of this, that this is not anything new, that even a BCom graduate knows that in the balance sheet you have the shareholders account, the liabilities, the assets, and also the P&L account, the revenue and the expenses. This, even a BCom graduate also understands that.
Sir, one more thing. So these are called as heads of account. Am I correct, sir? Chart of accounts or heads of accounts, both are same?
Yeah, you can call it as heads of accounts.
Because they are, yeah, because of the terminology, I'm
Yeah.
just making it. Heads of accounts are a charter.
That is maybe because when you are in academics, we may call it as heads of accounts. So once you get into a company and then you start, we know it is only a chart of accounts. So this is what actually, whatever no, I think this, your doubt will be clarified by this. All the heads of accounts will be in either revenue, expenditure, assets, and liabilities. And this, the terminology used is not even chart of account, they say COA. So how do you set up the chart of accounts? The accounts are that are listed will depend on the nature of the business. That is means what? The nature of the business does have influence on the accounts. May not be that all account names have to be renamed, nothing like that. There are certain, all mostly everything are standard names, whether be it in SAP or Oracle or Microsoft or Tally, whatever it is, whatever ERP or whatever accounting packages you are using, the accounting names are all standard. There are only a few of them will be different. But the main thing will be that how you define them. How are you going to define them? That is, you can use you can have different numbering for system for them. Most of the companies will have go for a numbering system because it is easy to pick up. That is, when a person is entering a voucher or anything, he cannot, instead of looking at the name, he will be able to pick up that particular account code, and then he will enter it in the transaction. Small business commonly know they use about 3-digit numbers, while large businesses may use a 4-digit numbers, because that will allow them more room to add additional numbers. See, this is how the numbering may be. Yeah, say you can say assets maybe 1,000 to 2,000, and then liabilities 2,000 to 2,999. So, and in this one again, you can have your own. That is, under assets there may be different types, and again under liabilities you have different. So again you have to reallocate some of the number. Means these numbers you have to again reallocate them further. The more you have the numbering, the more you have the it will give you the flexibility. So what is this chart of accounts? No, it is again to just to make it, just to say, try to understand what it is. Say, let us see some of this. Instead of my telling you, maybe I can read some of these things. The chart of account is a list of all accounts in one place. It provides a bird's view of every area of business that spends or makes money. The 5 pillars of chart of accounts are revenue, expenses, assets, liabilities, and equity. Groups of numbers are assigned to each of the 5 main categories, while blank numbers are left at the end to allow for additional accounts to be added to for the future. That is how we have to define it, so that the structure, define the structure, so that you have to look into, you have to see the future also. It is not that today you have used a tally, so you can use the same numbering. You cannot do that. You have to build it for the future. The numbering should be consistent to make it easier for management to generate reports of the company from one period to the next. All ERPs should necessarily follow the 5 pillars in the chart of accounts. There is no other way they can do it. Whether it is SAP, whether it is Oracle, whether it is your Microsoft or NetSuite, whatever name you may give, whoever wants to build an ERP, they have to necessarily use the 5 pillars in their chart of accounts. They are called they are mentioned called as some natural accounts, even though they may give different names, they may call different names, but ultimately they are tagged on to only this 5. So under the 5 pillars of the chart of accounts, you can give the numberings according whatever way you want it. Because I don't want to get into the more details, because each company will have its own way of doing it. A smaller company may not have the number of accounts may be less. It may be even say suppose it's in a construction company, they may have assets of which may the number of assets may be more, or it may be in a software company, it may be less. So depending on the requirement, they have to give they have to give the number in. This is the most whatever I just explained to you is just a basic understanding of chart of accounts. The main crux, the most important in chart of accounts is have a segmented chart of accounts. That is, you define some segments. You try to build it in your account structure in such a way that you are able to get reports for your departments, whether it may be a department, maybe a branch, maybe a cost center. See, that means what your chart of accounts should ultimately cater to the company. The company will have so many departments. The company will have branches. The cost center, and companies may have. If the company is robust enough to have activities to be captured, that can be done. The activities, maybe the number of activities will be more, but that can be done. That means it is not just the chart of accounts giving these numbers, not just giving this, using the 5 pillars and giving this number is not enough. You have to define the departments, the branches, the cost centers in them. This can be done only if you have the total view of the business, total understanding of the business. You make a business study. That's what they call it as. Whenever when an ERP company goes for implementation, they call it as a business process study. They make a business process study. Then only they start the implementation. The business process study is done. They talk to the management has to approve that, and then the work starts. And in that, the most important thing is that the chart of accounts should be linked to all these segments. How are they linked? Each ERP has got its own way of doing it. SAP will have its own way of doing it. Oracle will have its own way of doing it. And Microsoft Dynamics has got its own. So that means what? That you have to define your chart of accounts. You have to define the business activities, and then you have to link it to that, so that your reporting can give you, as per the chart of accounts, as for each of the branches or each of the cost centers or each of the departments, the required reports. Microsoft Dynamics has got its own. I will come to this later on. And now I cannot talk to you much about each of these ERPs, because each ERP, to understand how each ERP, the chart of account is defined, or how that business process study is done, and how the SAP, suppose ERP like SAP or Microsoft Dynamics, how they are used. It is a voluminous, and you need people with specialists in that to explain you. I am not a specialist. I can only guide you in this. So Microsoft Dynamics has got its own way of doing it. Oracle has got a unique name. They call it as accounting flexi fields. That accounting flexi fields, it is a big, it is a ocean. I can't just explain to you here. And here the only thing is you can just try to understand that in the flexi that you can in the chart of account in Oracle, they define even the segments. All these things are also will come, and they say that the length of a chart of account, that the length of an account um, should have, that's what you will find here. The COI structure must contain at least two segments, that is the balancing and the natural account, and no more than 30 segments. That means 30 segments can be defined in your chart of accounts. And you find that there are two things. One is the balancing and the natural account. Balancing account is in Oracle is they balance each of the chart of accounts is balanced with a number, that which is it is done by the system. And the natural account is nothing but the 5 pillars that nobody can change it. So this is, you see, the total length of segment combination cannot exceed 240 characters. This is an Oracle app. I don't know now. This was some time back when I did it. I got this, just this information I got it. But maybe now today it may be a different son, of course. But one thing is definite, that the balancing and the natural accounts remain the same. In SAP, they have slightly different. That is, they have the operating chart of accounts, they have group chart of accounts, they have country-specific chart of accounts, so that they can you can have any number of chart of accounts, and then you tag it to the company, and so that this is done, so that the reporting can be done. It can be done for a company, for a group, or where you want to have a consolidated accounting. The group of chart of accounts will be very helpful. It's like the country specific. Suppose the company has got companies in different countries, you can have a country specific chart of accounts. And again, I'm telling you that you, to understand this, you should have not just one session for each of these ERPs. Maybe you should have a training session of, say, about 10 days. Coming to my, we have been trying to understand all this, what is happening in ERP, means whether it is SAP or Oracle and Microsoft Dynamics. But one thing is that nowadays, the artificial intelligence has gained a lot of importance. And how this has come into our area of accounting is which means I could only, when I, after seeing only after when I saw these things, I was really I am so, I got so so much of interest now has generated in me that even at my age of, I am now going to be 17 next year. Even at this age, I find that there are so many things to learn and so many new things are coming. Artificial intelligence is not coming just a field which is affecting every other area. It is also affecting the accounts. What does this artificial intelligence mean? That is, artificial intelligence is the theory, and it's the development of computer system which will be able to perform tasks normally requiring human intelligence, such as visual perception, speech recognition, decision making, and translation between languages. Everywhere here, artificial intelligence. Why now? Now US, my son-in-law is in self-driving cars. Self-driving car, that you don't need a driver to drive the car. They use artificial intelligence. the car drives on its own. They have come on it is on the roads of California. They are trying that they are on the roads of Texas. So artificial intelligence has made lot of inroads into all the areas, including accounting. And there is one more thing, no, that is, I told you of this, whether the data, whether physical or digital, that is, you have in artificial intelligence, there is one optical character recognition. Optical character recognition. This is what this recognizes the characters. This has been used in our accounting also. In the artificial intelligence, by using this technology of optical character recognition, it has come into accounting also. How has it come? I will explain you I will give you two examples. Example of one is artificial intelligence being used in the new receipt capture in QuickBooks. In QuickBooks, there are three ways the bills will come into the system. Bills, suppose you buy some item, and that material, once you buy an item, you have a bill in your hand, and you are there, you are a market, you are in the field, you are a purchase person who has gone to buying some purchases in some place, or you might have gone to a different country, you might have bought some items, then the bill is there with you, and the bill has to be sent to the, how does the bill come to the system? They have a different way. It comes and sits into the system. It is nothing now, no manual intervention. You don't have to take the bill, post it to the company receives it after 15 days, and then it goes to the accounts department. The accounts man takes it out, and then he starts entering the system. Nothing like that. Straight away, there are three ways by which the bills come into the system. One is the direct file upload. That is, somebody has sent him by mail a scanned copy of the bill. That will be directly uploaded into the system. And this I am talking about in QuickBooks. And this may be true in all, even ERPs. Maybe a person who is working in ERP can explain you that. Like that, you have forwarding by mail. There are certain mail IDs are being provided, and you put whatever the bills are there, you put it in that mail, you send it to that mail. That mail will come and sit in the system, and it will get up and downloaded. Same way, nowadays, mobile apps. Everybody has a mobile. The moment you buy some item, the bill is there. You have an app for that. In the mobile app, you capture the bill, and that once you capture in the mobile app, it straight away goes to the system, and it gets downloaded there. So these are the three ways how the receipts are captured in QuickBooks. If you can see this, the workflow, how it is. You have three boxes here. The upload from computer, forward from email, and snap on mobile. So whatever receipts are there, they come and sit in these three. Once the information flows into these three, these things are downloaded. It comes and sits as a statement. It comes down. You will find the transaction date, the description, and the payment account, total amount due. Then what is the category match? What is this? You find that a bill has come. Suppose you have bought a bill one you have bought some material from one company. One company has got a way of giving you the bill, and their bill have information. The information will be in different places. Then another company will give a bill in which that the structure is different, that the design is different. And then you go into suppose you are buying some stores and spare, you buy some nails or some hammer or whatever it is, and go to a small shop, that fellow will give a bill. Then if you are getting all these bills and then the system reads it information, and then what happens is you find that it reads the artificial intelligence makes it read the information. Anything? So you find that this information will someone sit here, and from here the accounts, it is the duty of the accountant, the responsibility of the accountant to go through these transactions, and then the system also, artificial intelligence, categorizes the expenses. It says this is the match, this is the expenditure, this is the chart of accounts defined already in the system in the chart of accounts. The artificial intelligence reads that and puts it here. And as an accountant, it is our duty to go through this transaction and then see whether you have to see whether that account is properly categorized, and then you say action is match. Then it automatically comes and sits in the system. I think another 5 minutes I'll complete it.
Yeah, okay. Because it's, of course, you take a lot of time and then you maybe also get it.
Yeah, I'll just complete it over. So this is what happens in the same way also when we are doing a bank reconciliation and all. Nowadays, there is no bank reconciliation in the books. There is no bank because the online banking, the information flows into the system, and then whatever comes in through the artificial intelligence, it recognizes the account to which it has to go, and there are certain banking rules can be defined so that it goes and sits automatically, and then all the transactions will be entered. There won't be any if the system is not able to recognize the transaction, it will go into uncategorized. And as an accountant, we see only the uncategorized. Once you see the uncategorization, then what happens? You say it is uncategorized. You categorize it according to correctly. So coming to the end of my one session, what I feel is that whatever we say about the technology, the new technology coming in and all, or the ERP is coming, everything is changing, but not the basics of accounting. Our basics of accounting still remain the same. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to make this presentation to you. You have any doubts, anything, you can ask me, or you can even get in contact with me through Mr. Prakash. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And it was actually elaborative session. You gave a lot of input, and finally you said, because most of our students are quite convergent with your chart of accounts, but of course it's in a technical way, they have to change it to that style or that model. Am I correct, sir? Basic part of it, and then the final line you gave, that basic accounting is needed. So
Yes.
that's a reason our practical accounting always making them as a basic and that sort of a foundation that, and they have been making the balance sheets and the practical procedures. This session will definitely help them. We are so thankful. And then, sir, we thank you, Sri Divakar Garu, having spent the time and then seen our shared and then participated in the program. And we will be inviting you also as a person in that field we need you for advice.
Yes, sir. With your permission, Prakash sir, I would like to add two more sentences to what our
Yeah.
Krishnan sir has explained.
Yes, sir.
Okay. It is for our young aspirants and finance professionals who are attending this particular session. I would like to say that before coming into ERP, which happened, of course, almost 2 decades ago, I worked in BRPs called BAN and Oracle, and then shifted to Microsoft Dynamics in the year 2006. Prior to that, I worked as a functional person. Okay, like I was a quality engineer, I was a production engineer, I was an operations manager. Okay, I was in production, R&D, and factory, various places. I worked for ECIL, ISRO, Wipro, so many places. I only, after I entered into the ERP in 1998, okay, when I became a senior consultant for BAN, after learning, then I realized I could have done a lot more if I had known all these concepts in the previous years. Of course, I was always rated excellent and all that outstanding and all those things within the limitations, but I realized I could have performed much better. So all of you, basically this is another good thing. I am also a functional consultant, like no, functional consultants play the major role in a ERP implementation and success. Okay, so they are the building blocks of this ERP solution. So I started after this experience of being in the production or factory operations, purchase, etc. I became a consultant, and then no, I became senior consultant, project manager, delivery head, vice president, like that. That's how I have grown. So, but I was able to sit with my technical consultants and ask them exactly what I need, how I need, which table, where, how, all those things. I learned the background of what is ERP actually. So, as functional consultants, you are the most important people who play that complete role of this implementation success of ERP project in any organization wherever you are. And it is same whether you are with, as I was telling you, SAP, Oracle, or Microsoft, any ERP, your role is same. As Krishnan sir has told that basic accountancy will never change. So the role of this functional consultants will never change. Krishnan sir was telling Lotus 123. I don't know, many of you are not aware, but it was the first and foremost spreadsheet much before Excel came. This is actually a predecessor of Excel. Excel, all of you are aware. Okay, so that's how it. No, technology can change, but the basics will never change. So I request all of you people concentrate on your basics. Basically, accountancy is most important, as he told, 5 pillars and all that. Okay, if you are strong in your accountancy, whether you are a BCom or a MCom, doesn't matter. Okay, you can become a very good financial consultant or expert. I know lots of initial days when there were not many consultants. Most of the time we used to take people where they have implemented an ERP in their organization and they were a part of it. Okay, so we used to bring them, train them, and make them as our consultants.
Very nice, sir. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
That's a small advice I thought I should share with all
students. Yeah, student. Do we have any doubts? You can, if you want to ask. I mean, our speaker is ready to answer the queries. Anyone? Is already taken longer. I mean, some longer time, of course. Time is yes. Somebody. Hello, hello. Sir, okay. So I think because they have got a good input, they are happy. Actually, it may be the first program on here, to be frank, and you covered you made a comparison, and you were manual accounting to ERP accounting and artificial intelligence also you covered. We mean to say the entire accounting from starting to. Yes, sir. Okay, artificial intelligence also he has covered. It is a great, I mean, like a sort of a great achievement, or I mean, it's a great exposure on this the subject. So we thank you, sir. I request all the participants, because please unmute your mics, all of you.
Yes,
Please
sir.
unmute the mics, and then
Yes.
please because he has covered a lot of the subject. Please, all of you. Yes, sir. Please, all of you, give him a big hand.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
say thanks to all.
Thank you so
And
much.
then
So much,
both
sir.
of them, actually Diwakar garu and then Krishnan garu.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, we thank you, sir.
Thank
Good
you.
day. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
We close the program.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for supporting
Thank
us.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, you all information, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, sir. Thanks, Ali.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye, sir.